am so excited to be here with you again this morning. I apologize for my technical challenges that I was having. I'm so excited to be with you guys today because there's a great message that I want to deliver, and maybe not such a fun message. But if you guys will, please put your gratitudes in the morning box. I love that Russ always asks us to do that. It's fun to see what you guys are grateful for. So please go ahead and put your gratitudes down. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little something about the business. And when I say this is, I often look at real estate agents, and over the years of being a coach now, I have noticed there is a trend with a lot of real estate agents. And as I was coaching one of my coaching clients yesterday, he said to me, he goes, the top producers, and there was a certain takeaway that he actually took away from yesterday's morning meeting. The top producers know their business. And I thought that was such a profound statement because it's the truth, you guys. The top producers do know their business, and they know exactly what it is that they have to do on a daily basis to create it into a business. And one of the things that I also would just mention is, like I said, over the years of being a coach, is I've realized that a lot of real estate agents don't actually treat it like a business. They treat it like hey, let's do a deal when we do a deal. There's many agents out there that even do a great book of business that actually, I would tell you, sometimes don't even treat it like a business themselves, just because they aren't running it in an efficient way. And what I mean by that is there's certain things that we can do as real estate professionals to make sure that we're actually running it like a business. There's many times from when I've been a coach to when I'm bringing in a new licensee to an experienced agent who is starting from the bottom and, having to rebuild their business, is there's certain things that we can do to make sure that we're creating what I call a duplicatable system, and making sure that we're not going through these ebbs and the flows of the market. Because the reality is the market, if you let it, can control you. And I would just say that there's a lot of the times that us agents will show up and we think, okay, if we look the part, act the part, say what we need to say necessarily, then we can hopefully do some real estate transactions. And maybe some real estate transactions will actually fall into your lap. But one of the things that I want to specifically talk about today is your ability to track your numbers. And I know that it's not everybody's favorite subject. You guys, I fought my coach for 6 months for tooth and nail. I was not going to track my numbers until I realized the reason why he was having me track my numbers. And what it really brings it to is our ability to track our numbers. No, it's not just because I want you to prospect. Okay. That is a big part of it. But our ability to track our numbers will tell us exactly what our business is doing, exactly what we need to do in our business. But I want you to write these topics down because there's specific things that the numbers will actually tell you as well. And they're just some statements that have really rung true with me over the years. But first and foremost, the numbers will take the emotion out of the business. You guys, it is a market right now where it is emotional. I can't tell you how many of my coaching clients are so frustrated because they can't get their offers accepted, because they're losing against other agents in listing presentations, things like that. Your numbers, if you're tracking them, will take the emotion out of the business. And then the second part to that I always will say is it's what creates your business into a reality. Okay. Again, it makes it so that your business becomes a reality, and it's not just hey, I'm doing a deal when I do a deal, or the deal just happened to fall in my lap, or I have a referral and so I took the listing. My thought process behind this. So number one, again, the numbers take the emotion out of the game. And two, the numbers create the reality of the business. Okay, so I want you to write those things down. So first and foremost, we're going to go through the numbers, and I want you to know why. Why? Because any top producer knows their numbers. Any top producer can tell you exactly where their business is coming from. Any top producer can actually tell you the average amount per hour that they make, right? So these are the things that you should be able to tell me. If I were to come up to you and I were to say, hey, Jared, where's the main source of your business coming from? You should be able to tell me where it's coming from. Or if I said, what do you make per hour? You should be able to tell me $756.23, right? Because if you are truly running it like a business, you guys, every business uses numbers to track the efficiencies of their business. If you look at it, right, a business like Everest, George tracks the numbers to know where we're at as far as the company goes. If you look at, I just came home from Pennsylvania. If you look at the airplane, you get on the airplane, the pilot knows how many ticket sales that they have to be able to fly that plane, right? You have to know your numbers to be able to actually run a business, to know that, okay, I can create a duplicatable system, to know, okay, I need to go on this many appointments to convert this many listings. Okay, so there's certain numbers that I want us to track. So the first number is, first and foremost, your contacts. Your contacts. And you guys, contacts to me are an actual conversation where I've introduced myself as an actual agent. Or if you're on the lending side or title side, whatever it may be, is where you're actually introducing yourself in that position of the company. I had somebody ask me yesterday, hey, Lindsey, I went to a social event over the weekend, and I talked to a lot of people. I told them I was in the business, this and that. Can I count those? Well, you can, but to myself personally, if I want to create a duplicatable system, I'm only counting my prospecting time. Okay, I'm not counting my social events, things like that. Okay, so contacts, first and foremost. And that the second thing, how many hours prospected are you prospecting? And be truthful with yourself, you guys, where you're actually making phone calls, you're actually making connection with people, and you're actually having conversations about real estate. Or if you're out door knocking, how many hours did you prospect door knocking? Okay, so contacts, hours prospected. I always will say, how many days are you prospecting a week? Then also, how many listings taken? And then how many buyers under contract? How many contracts did you get written? And then, of course, George will always say, are you paying attention to how many price reductions and things like that? Obviously, today's market shifts that a little bit. Hopefully, none of us have to worry about price reductions right now. But the thing is there's certain numbers that if we track them, that we know exactly where our skill sets need to improve. Okay, so contacts to set. What does that tell me? If I take my contacts and I divide it by my set, that will give me my ratios of my appointments attended. Okay, what does that tell me? Well, there's certain things that I can pay attention to. So contacts, right? We can pay attention to my conversations on the phone or my conversations door knocking. Are you having quality conversations? Are you building enough value in your conversations to actually set an appointment? Okay, so I have contacts to set. That tells me my ability to set an appointment. Now, if I have set to attended, so whether I'm going to a listing or whether I'm working with a buyer, if I have set to attended, that will tell me, am I pre-qualifying enough? Here's my favorite thing. I have a coaching client, goes on 10 listing appointments, gets 5 out of the 10. Most people would say that's great. I'm looking at it with her as her coach and going, how can we get the other 5? Where did it fall short? What is it that we could have done better? And these numbers allow you to know those things. Okay. So if we're doing the contacts to actually held appointments, then I know if I'm pre-qualifying. Am I pre-qualifying my listing appointment? Is it actually, as Jeremy said yesterday, worth going on the appointment? The other part to that too is, am I pre-qualifying my buyers and making sure that they're actually qualified, highly qualified buyers? Okay. And then of course, our attended to a contract written will tell us our ability to either A, are we good at our presentation? Like I just said, are we taking those 5 extra listings? Or B, are you actually good at getting your offers accepted? Getting your buyers under contract, making sure that those things are happening. So you guys, knowing our numbers allows us to tell us exactly where our skill sets need to improve. Okay, if you're working with your broker, your manager, or making sure that you're, your coach, if you're being coached by one of us, through ESS, I would tell you that those numbers will tell you exactly where your skill sets need to improve. It is more critical in today's market than it's ever been. for you to actually be running your business like a business. I'm going to repeat that. It is more critical in today's market to make sure that you are running your business like a business. Know your numbers, know how many contacts to set. It takes, again, when I say that it takes the emotion, you guys, out of the real estate game, is when I show up to work and I'm going to do my prospecting, I know exactly how many contacts I need to make to hit my goal for the year. Right? Because if I know my contacts, then I will know how many set appointments that'll come from that. Or vice versa. If I know my set appointments, I know how many contracts I'll convert to. Okay. So it's making sure that you know your numbers, that when you come in every single day, if I sit down and if we just talk to, so that I want you guys to write these 3 things down that George always will say is 30 contacts, or 3 hours prospected, or 1 appointment set. You guys, it is more critical in today's market that if you want efficiencies in your business, you must increase your numbers. You have to. Right? I'm just going to give an example of a Brian Burnett. I was down there a few weeks ago in St. George. There was a day that he was in the office all day. And I turned to him and I said, Brian, what are you doing? Why aren't you on a listing appointment? And he goes, well, I haven't set my appointment for the day. He doesn't stop until that 1 appointment set. Okay. And you have to set your own standards, and you have to have those standards for your numbers. But what I would tell you is, if you've prospected for 3 hours, but you haven't set an appointment in today's market, you're not going to be taking the listings. And the reality is right now, you guys, is we have to be listing focused. Yes, are we going to work with buyers if they come our way? Absolutely. But if you want to last in this business, you have to take more listings. You just have to. The frustration gets in there. I get it. And so making sure that we're actually going after the listings. So efficiencies in your business. Number 1, if you want to increase your efficiencies in your business, you must increase your numbers that you're involved in each day. You have to, right? You have to be making more contacts. I would say that 30 contacts for some of you isn't enough. You should be at 40, 50 contacts a day. Okay. Or like Brian, I'm not leaving till that 1 appointment set. I'm not just going to stop at my 30 contacts, or I'm not just going to set, my hours. Because sometimes, you guys, there's days where you're going to walk in and it's a good day, and I set an appointment immediately. Well, then I would say go for the 30 contacts or your 3 hours prospected if you really want to win at the game. Don't stop. That's when you should put the pedal to the metal, right? Because that's when you're going to have a lot more success. Okay. And then the second thing is, if you want to increase your efficiencies in the business right now, you must increase the quality of contacts. Again, the reason why it's important for you to track these numbers. If you're working with your broker and your manager or your coach, these numbers will tell you exactly where your skill sets need to improve. Your ability to actually take a listing will determine how many contacts you need to make, to how many set, to how many attended appointments, to how many listings taken. Those numbers tell you what you're capable of doing. So again, it goes back to taking the emotion out of the business, you guys. It's a numbers game. As much as we may or may not like to admit it. Yes, are we going to build relationships over time? Yes, but we're in a sales business, and even more so than we ever have been before. If you don't know your numbers, I promise you, the emotions will be high. You'll think that, oh, I just went out and took 1 listing. Oh, great. Right? It's like I said with my coaching client. She's went on 10. She's taken 5. That's great. But why didn't she take the other 5? Some would say maybe she was outpriced by other agents. Some would say maybe, that they cut their commissions, things like that. You guys, the truth is, as much as it may be right at some level. And are there going to be onesie twosies where that is the case? Of course. But the reality is look, if another agent is taking a listing over you because they priced it above you, well, I would tell you, you haven't built enough value in your presentation, right? If another agent is cutting their commissions, you haven't created enough value to why that client should work with you. Okay. So knowing your numbers, knowing these numbers, your contacts to set, to taken, to listings taken, or buyers under contract, it'll tell you exactly where your skill sets need to be. Is it my ability to set an appointment? Is it my ability to actually pre-qual? Is it my ability to actually hold the appointment, meaning actually, your listing presentation or your buyer side of things? And then maybe it is your ability to close. Maybe it's your presentation skill sets. Okay. And those numbers will tell you exactly where your skill sets need to improve. Why didn't you take 10 instead of the 5? Even though those are great numbers, somebody like her should be easily taking 8 out of 10 listings right now. Okay. With her skill sets and where she's at. So we're able to look at those things. So real quickly, you guys, I know it's not a fun subject. I know it's not something that we really think to, but if you look at, like I said, any professional business, anybody who is a top producer in this industry, they can tell you exactly where their numbers are. They can tell you it takes 10 contacts to 4 set to 2 converted. Okay. They can tell you that the majority of their business comes from their SOI, or maybe just listed, just sold, for sell by owners, expireds. You really want to get technical on these numbers. You could even track each category if you wanted to. But I would challenge you and say, for an example, my coaching client, where she went on 10, took 5, I asked her, I said, where did the main source of those come from? The ones that you took. The majority of the listings she took were her referral network. Well, that's a pretty easy, not all the time, I won't say all the time, but that's a pretty easy listing presentation in most cases. So where was her struggle? When she actually had to go out to a cold listing appointment. So her and I had to work on her True Blue listing presentation for somebody who she doesn't know, right? For her to ability to convert those as well and get those other 5. Okay, you guys, I know these are, again, not fun things to know, but I will tell you, it actually becomes very fun. When you understand that you can take the emotion out of the business, there's numbers that you can track, and these numbers will actually help you convert what you need to do. It's so much easier to run your business without the emotion, because every morning I know that I have to come in, and if I sit down to prospect, I know how many contacts I need to hit to convert however many listings or buyers under contract to be able to hit my goal. And then it gets even funner as you get into more depths, then you can really start running a P&L. I remember there was an agent for one of the teams that I was working with. And I said to him, I said, you guys, you're in sales. You should be running a P&L on your business. And he goes, Lindsey, I've never looked at it that way. And he had just came from a corporate job where that's all he knew how to do, because any professional business runs a P&L on their business. Are you just being another real estate agent, or are you being a real estate professional? Are you an agent that, let's just say the market shifts here soon, are you going to be able to shift? Are you going to know, maybe right now in today's market, I have to increase my numbers for efficiencies, or maybe when the market shifts, I don't have to hit as many numbers and I know exactly where I need to be. Professionals know their numbers. They know exactly what they need to do to hit the income goal that they want to hit. Again, remove the emotion. It removes the emotion. And not only that, it makes your business a reality. Okay. So the 2 things I would just say again, if you want to increase your efficiencies, you have to increase your numbers right now. And the second thing that I would tell you is the quality of contacts. You guys, as you start tracking your numbers, even though you may love to go outdoor knocking because it's nice, it's sunny, and you can have the face-to-face belly contact, what I will tell you is what you'll realize is over time, the better you become in your skills, which if you track these numbers, the better you become in your skills, you won't see a Brian Burnett out there door knocking, just listed, just solds. He's calling just listed, just solds. Why? Because he's increasing the quality of the contact versus just how many contacts he's out there hitting. Okay. So make sure that you're tracking your numbers. Make sure that you're paying attention to your skill sets. Yes, it is a hard market out there, you guys. I understand it. I've heard it from all my coaching clients. I hear it from the agents daily. Okay. Is it a hot market? Of course it is. But is it a hard market? It is. And you have to be able to take listings right now. You must take listings. And by tracking these numbers, you very easily can improve your skill sets. I promise you. And not only that, it will tell you where your efficiencies need to happen in your business. Okay. So you guys, what I would challenge you today, grab an accountability partner. I can tell you how many top producers that I've talked to and worked with, they have accountability partners. They check in with each other before prospecting starts. They set their goal for the day, what they're going to do, what their intentions are as far as contacts to set. Okay. And then at the end of their prospecting, they're checking in with each other again. Don't settle for thinking that we can just show up and look pretty right now in today's market and hopefully some deals will fall into our lap. The reality is you guys, I can even testify to that. It's happening right now. Okay. But you have to make sure that you're prospecting daily. You have to make sure you're tracking your contacts, your set, your listings taken, your buyers under contract, knowing your skill sets. Where do I need to improve on? Right now in today's market, you want to last in this business, you better be paying attention to your skill sets. Okay. Don't get burnt out. I know that that's what I keep hearing right now from a lot of clients. Okay. So make sure that you're creating these efficiencies. I challenge you today, grab an accountability partner, make sure you're setting these intentions, track your numbers, bring them to your broker, your manager, myself. I'm more than happy to help you through these so that you can see why we do these numbers, why the contacts to set can tell me my skill sets, okay, and where I need to improve on. The professionals track their numbers, you guys. The professionals know what they have to do on a daily basis. The professionals know their business. The professionals can also tell you their average dollar per hour that they're making because of their commission checks. So please, please, whatever you do, be the professional today. Start tracking your numbers. Create a duplicatable system for yourself and get an accountability partner where you guys are holding each other accountable to making sure that you're hitting those contacts and that you're tracking your numbers on a daily basis. Thank you guys again for being here. I'm so excited for you. Let's make sure that we're running some efficient businesses out there. All right, Russ, let's go ahead and close.